What's going on, guys? What's going on? Again, this is Castro here, YS Stocks and Options, and I wanted to do something for our military folks because usually we talk about stocks in the security market, but today I wanted to open the aperture a little bit and talk about TSP. Right? I've been in the military for like 20 years, and I've been investing in TSP that long. I'm an old man, and I just want to shed some light on a few things that I've learned as far as investing the thrift savings plan, right? Being in the military. So here, so this is my account. I'm, I'm not gonna, let's just go to the regular website because I don't want to give too much of my personal information on here. So this is the website thrift savings plan, right? So they just updated the website first and foremost. And if you're having issues actually setting up a new account and login, you can do what I did, right? So you can try to set it up and you're going to run into some issues, right? But what you can do, you can actually use your passport. Take a picture of your passport, follow those instructions, and you can actually get a new username and password that way, right? Of course, you can call the 1-800 number too. But I wanted to share with you guys was like, it's the performance of these individual funds. I think most of us don't realize that whenever we actually invest into the TSP, the Thrift Savings Plan, if you go to my pay and you don't change where your money's going to, it goes straight into the G fund, right? I'm not going to talk about the life cycles today. I'm going to do a segment for the life cycles. But for this iteration, I just wanted to talk about what happens when you actually set up, right, your contributions into TSP, right? You go to my pay, you put your percentage there. If you're part of the blended retirement, we know that the military does matching up to 5%. If you're not part of the blended retirement, you're part of the high 3 or the redux, right? The military does not match it. The Department of Defense does not match 5% for you. But what you must know is that the individual funds, right? Your money goes straight into the G fund. The G fund is the safest fund, right? Safest fund. Then you have the F fund, fixed income, C fund, common stock index, small cap, S fund, and then the international fund, the I fund, right? And what you'll see here, you see the benchmarks in which are correlated to each and every one of these. The F fund, for example, fixed income, is really correlated with the US aggregate index. The C fund, common stock, is the S&P 500, right? The S, right? Dow Jones, right? DJTSM, right? Dow Jones. And of course, you don't have anything for the I fund, but this here is fixed income is usually bonds, right? Bonds. And this is the stock market here. These two are the stock market, the C fund and the S fund. So those are the benchmarks that benchmark indexes, they're correlated to what each and every one of the funds. Again, if you don't go to MyPay and then if you don't go to TSP.gov and change where your money's going to, by default, it's going to go to the G fund, right? So make sure that you do that. Go to TSP.gov, set up your account in order to make sure that your money is going to whatever fund you choose to put it in, right? So what I'm going to show you now is a thing that I learned maybe 9 years ago, and how I make about 30 to 50% on my TSP every year, right? Of course, I watch the market. The market is my space, my domain, and I'm always paying attention to what's going on. And I have a tendency to move my money a little bit differently, based on what I'm seeing in the market. Like I'll give you an example, right? January, we saw a huge correction in the market where we're down 18, 12 to 20% right now on S&P 500 or the Dow Jones, right? And also the other indexes. So what I did, right? I took my money that I had in the CNS fund. I took about 400K, and it's like 80% of it, and I put it in the G fund. And I will show you why I put in the G fund, right? That's what I did, right? This is not advice whatsoever, just telling you what I did, and also to show you some cool things about the funds themselves and how we've actually capitalized and optimized our full returns when it comes to putting money in the right places, right? So what you see here again, G fund, F fund, C, S, and I. And here's year, right? Inception means since they first started. So if you put your money in a G fund, right? Since let's say April 1st, 1987, I was like maybe 2 or 3 years old at that time, right? For 1 year in a G fund, you will make 1.7%. If you put the money, you left the money there for 3 years, 1.4, 5 years, almost 2%. 10 years, 2% as well. We can round that off, right? Since the inception, you would have made close to 5%, really 4.7%, right? Since inception, since 1987, if you kept your money all the way to 2022, you would have made 4.7% on it, right? That is the G fund, right? The same can be said for the F fund. Yearly, 3 years, 5 years, 2 years of placing your money in the F fund. And then since inception, since 1988 until right 2022. But the C fund, right? You notice that the C fund and the S fund, uh, again, these are the funds that target the stock market, right? And also the I fund as well, right? As we just learned that the C fund is close to the S&P 500 and the S fund is close to the Dow Jones, right? Of course, and then we have the international companies. So since inception, look, you would have made 10.72%, almost doubled the G fund, almost doubled, right? Close to doubling the F fund too, right? In 10 years, you would have made 14%, 5 years, almost 13%, 3 years, right? Almost 16%, rounding those off. And then the Dow Jones, right? 3 years of money in there, you would have made 10%. 1 year, negative 21%. This is scary, right? Right? 10 years, 11%, and so on and so forth, right? And the same thing with the G fund, right? As long-term, as investors, we're always looking at the long term, right? We're not really focused on 1 or 2, 3 years. We're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right? So what you must take into consideration is really these numbers here for 10 years, right? You'll notice that G fund made 2%, F fund 2%, C fund 14%. That's incredible. That means that for every dollar you would have had in there, you would have made 14 cents on that dollar. That's a lot of cents on a dollar. And then the S fund, you would have made almost 12 cents on a dollar. And the I fund, you would have made 7 cents on a dollar. Very impressive for 10 years. So I will show you now, right? This is 2022. We're going to go about year by year in this one, right? Annually. So in 2022, around January timeframe, I moved my money because, okay, I said that, the market is my domain. And hence, I realized that something was fishy and I felt like the market was going to go down. So when I moved my money, right, I didn't lose 10% on the Dow Jones or 5% on the S&P 500, right? As an aggregate right now, right, it's down 14%, right, as of May, and 21%, right? The S&P 500 or the C fund is down 14%, according to TSP.gov, and the S fund is down almost 22%, right? Again, I moved my money January timeframe, so I didn't suffer any of these losses here. And I moved 80% of my money to, you guessed it, the G fund, right? Of course, I kept a little money, 10%, 20% of my money in the C fund, right? But 80% of it is in the G fund right now. But what we must learn, what we really have to take away, again, investors think about long-term, right? We're looking at, 5, 15, 20 years, right? 10, 15, 20 years, really. And if you notice, right, every year, right, we know that this is the G fund, right? This side here is the what, F, right? Then we have the C, S, and I, right? C, yeah, G, F, C, S, and I, right? You notice a few things, right? That in 2000, when we had the dot-com market correction or crash, if you want to call it, look what happened to the C fund, down 22%, right? The S fund down 18%, the I fund down almost 16%, right? Fixed income, right? Bonds were doing really well, right? G fund was doing amazing, 5%. But look what happened the year after in 2003, right? Up 28%. erasing all these losses here, right? The difference between these two is 6%, really 6.49%, right? Look what happened on a S fund, up 43%. Difference here is like 25%, right? See, up 38%, right? And the following year, it went even higher, right? That's why we look at things as long-term investors, as I mentioned before, right? 2008, right? We had the market crash. Whoa, the stock did horrible, 37, 38, 42%. Bonds did well, right? Didn't suffer much losses. The G fund did well too, right? But the year thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, right? 2009, we had 26.7%, 34.9%, 30%. And by 2010, right, it erased all those losses, 37%, because 26 plus 15 is what? 41, right? So we were up now almost, what, 4%, right? That's the way that we should look at it whenever we're looking into the TSP, again, as a looking at it holistic, and you want to look as far as out as you can, right? Because if you look at every year or you look at every month or every quarter, it's going to make, it's just going to hurt or whatever, right? So the easiest way to look at it is by looking at 10 years, how my money's performing. But what I would challenge you to take a look at this year, right? You notice what happened in 2000, right? I showed you what happened in 2008, but look what's happening now in 2002. I mean, 2022, right? 2022, we're seeing, right? Bonds, stock market, right? S&P 500, Dow Jones, International, they're all down right now. If this doesn't sound like a buying opportunity, I don't know what does, right? And this to me, right, sounds like a buying opportunity, right? I myself, what I'm doing, I'm maximizing how much I put into TSP right now. I'm maximizing how much I do that, right? And eventually I'm gonna decide to move my money from the G fund, safest fund, and put it back in the market, the stock market, meaning the C fund or the S fund. And I should expect higher return for the following year, right? Because same thing happened in, look at that, 2018, right? Boom, negative 4%, negative 9.6%, right? This is for the S fund, negative, right? Negative for 13. Again, look what happened in 2019, though. Boom. Those numbers, astronomical. 2020, right? This is not to serve as advice, but it's to serve as a teaching and also educational tool for you to make the best decision with your money, right? With TSP. Someone taught me this, when I was a soldier, when I was actually enlisted, man, in the military, and when I became an officer, this really intrigued me, and that's why I'm sharing this information with you. When you take into consideration your TSP, where you put in your money, remember, right? My pay, you can actually change whether you want traditional, right? Meaning that you pay taxes later, or Roth, pay taxes now on the money that you're putting in TSP. But you have to go to the website. You have to go to the website in order for you to put your money in whatever fund that you want, right? Whatever funds that you want, right? Based on your knowledge and what you're seeing. So I'm sharing with you, soldier to soldier, battle buddy to battle buddy. This has been a great opportunity for me to share and get back, because somebody actually taught me this. In our community, we have investment club. We teach folks how to invest properly. Financial literacy, I think, is extremely important. And we'll put the information and the link below for some of the classes that we do for free. And, if you're interested in joining us, all the information is below as well, right? We always say, always practice logic over emotions. But more importantly, we'll see you guys at the finish line. Peace and God bless. And you have a good one.